Morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. This is Late Riser here, and welcome to the Promoted Team Pod of the season 25-26. And with us today, we have a very special guest. He's one of my favorite posters from Twitter. If you don't follow him already, you should. This is Andy Martin. You'll find him on Twitter or X as FPL_tactician. Apologies, Andy, for the slight error that our designer
It's
made.
fine.
But I think this is your debut on the wire. So happy to have you here. How's it going, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me on. I mean, what an honor to be with you guys, two of my favorite people. So thanks for asking me. I'm looking forward to this. Love chatting. FPL, happy it's back.
I'm so happy Andy's here. I'm so happy. This is not called the Promoted Teams Pod. It's called the Andy Martin Pod.
Exactly.
Don't give me that credit. I mean, I heard you yesterday saying very famous, and I was it's a bit embarrassing, really.
Of course, you're very famous. I mean, I think we don't need to put a Twitter handle. Everyone knows Andy Martin.
Okay. Exactly, and he's coming close to 100K as well, Andy. That's filling up 2 stadiums. So get him close to that 100K pretty soon. He deserves it. And trust me, like during the week, if you want entertainment, you need to follow Andy Martin. I absolutely love what he does with his X account as well. You mentioned that 2 of your favorite people, though. I mean, I've seen your interactions with Pras on the app. Are you sure about favorite people? What's the situation there?
I mean, I'm just jealous of his ranks, and then he gets under my skin, and it's little snippy comments, and I have to react. But I know that like we both get on really well, so I know he can take it. So it's all good.
And I'm jealous of Andy's good looks and exceptional thinking and planning. So what can I say? But it's actually what we were saying before the pod started. People will be a little bit disappointed to learn that what they see on X is a little bit like banter, but in the DMs we're like super nice with each other, very polite and sharing our life stories. So, and we know each other's secrets, like the famous Gameweek 36 triple captaincy. We know that there was an alternate strategy. We're not saying anything, but
let's keep it quiet. Yeah.
There is history, and there is a lot of fun. So it's an actual pleasure to have you.
No, it's really good to be here, guys. I really got into the wire last couple of seasons, and you do such a good job, and deep diving and strategy is just good. And like a conversation pod is what I always look for, so it's always good stuff.
Appreciate it, Andy. How do you feel about your team being in the Premiership this season? Andy's a Leeds United fan and breaking all kinds of records. How do you feel ahead of the season?
Yeah, really excited. I mean, I'm so happy we got up, and it was frustrating not to get up the previous season, because I think again we were the top 3 teams last season before we went up, and then we lost in the playoff final, and it's kind of like, right, go again. Are we ready to go again and do as well as we were doing? But last season was brilliant. We were rightly champions, the best team in the championship, and I don't think that's a biased. I think that's a renowned opinion that Leeds were the best team, and we played some good stuff. So I'm hopeful. I know that the gap is huge, and that the teams previously have shown how tough it is. But if any team can do it, with the fans we've got, the home support, I think we're capable. So let's see.
And some thoughts? Go on, Pras.
No, I was just saying, in terms of managers, obviously we remember Bielsa's Leeds, right? I mean, it was all action. It was all encompassing. Great for FPL, both to attack Leeds as well as to buy Leeds players. I mean, we all tripled up Dallas, Bamford, Rafinha. So Daniel Farke, I mean, how's he as a manager? And obviously he was with Norwich, and we remember his time at Norwich as they were the battering team, right? We used to target Norwich, not necessarily pick their players apart from Pookie, obviously. So manager contrast, what do you think?
I mean, I really like Farke. I was really excited by the appointment, and I liked him at Norwich, as in more of like a man manager and kind of nice guy, but also a good coach and quite astute coach. And I think he's definitely progressed as a coach. He knows what he's doing. He sets up the team very well, but it's moving the ball quickly. It's still fast paced. It's intense, and I think.
Hold on. I want to get into the deep dive for Leeds, but we just hold on to that a little later.
Yeah, sure.
General thoughts on the rules, changes, defensive contributions, all of that. What are your thoughts, and how do you think big picture people should look at FPL differently compared because of what's been dealt to us in terms of the rules and the changes, etc.?
I mean, it doesn't suit my style of play. I feel like I have to be more aggressive with more chips and more free transfers. So I didn't really like that side of it, where it's like more chips, more FPL were giving less engaged people more opportunities to get back engaged and kind of help their team. So I didn't like it at all. But the way I'll plan, the way I'll use it as best as I can to try and like help myself. But for me, I'm a planner. I'm a strategizer. I look at fixtures, and I still think that I can get a certain edge, definitely over a casual player. But it's getting harder and harder to do that.
Right. Just it's interesting because you all both are planners in my opinion, because you all are always ahead of the curve when you're looking at transfers 6, 7, 8, 10 game weeks ahead. But you all have such different perspectives as well to your planning, which are
Yes, some of us look at weather and pregnancies as well. So
every little edge I can try and get.
Yeah. Any tributes to the man gone to Napoli, Andy?
So what? Sorry.
Any tributes to the man gone to Napoli, Mr. Kevin De Bruyne?
I mean, great guy. The Premier League's worse off for him leaving. But I think the time was right. I think his legs are gone, and so perhaps Serie A is more suited to his style. And I think he's going to do well at Napoli. So, but we'll never forget it, and I'll always be posting that screenshot. So.
Yeah. And we'll need to find a new triple captaincy legend. Now you have 2 shots this year.
Yeah. Double the chances, I guess.
All right. Just a little bit of housekeeping. People in the chat, just let me know if the sound is okay. Zoff generally takes care of all the tech. So I just want to know if sound, video, everything's okay. And a quick sponsor plug before we deep dive into what's going to be an interesting chat about the promoted teams. As always, all the data that you see on this podcast, and there's a fair amount of interesting numbers on here, is from the Fantasy Football Scout members area. So if you aren't a member already, click on the link in the description below or just scan this QR code. And we've been partnered with Scout ever since we started doing content. So if you are become a member, right now they have a 47% discount, which is just very, very, it's the cheapest it's going to be this year, I reckon. And if you are become a member, help us out by clicking on this link or QR code. Right, Andy. Let's talk about, I think generally first up, I want to talk about Burnley and Leeds both as a whole, because both teams have broken, I mean, what you see are stupendous records. These are the most clean sheets that any 2 clubs have had in the championship in the last 15 seasons. Why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, those numbers, especially from Burnley, are absurd. I mean, I couldn't believe it. They 16 goals conceded in a 46 game championship is incredible. And for a certain time, they'd conceded 9 or 10 goals and they just weren't conceding. And it was kind of like, you've played 40 games and conceded 10 goals. It's like, how does that happen in the championship where it's normally so competitive and such a fast-paced league? It's like, wow, you've conceded 16 goals. But the interesting thing is, if you look at the expected data, Leeds had a better XGC than Burnley.
You mean, Leeds had a better one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And that's down to just goalkeepers. I think Trafford was exceptional the whole season. He kept plenty of clean sheets. I mean, the whole defence was built around just not conceding, which was great to see. But Trafford was outstanding. And we play Melia in goal, who seemed to concede every shot. And his confidence had just gone. And for whatever reason, we were dominating every single game. And it was so frustrating to watch, where it would be, how have we drawn that 2-2 when they've had 2 shots and both have gone in and that kind of thing? And it's like, yeah, I mean, so both teams were excellent defensively, set up really, really strong. I think Burnley's defence was just brilliant. I know they've lost one of the centre-backs. He's gone. But it was nice to see in the pricing, I know the promoted teams, but FPL kind of going, okay, we'll give some starters a 4 million price to kind of try and tempt things. And I think people will be, maybe after the season gets going, people thinking, oh, actually, Leeds and Burnley have got some defenders that are 4 million, and we can actually use them as a 5th defender and be okay. I think there's some good options there. So, yeah, amazed that those defensive numbers from both teams. Ours is still amazing, but Burnley conceded 16 goals. It will never happen again. Not in the Championship.
It's going to be very interesting because I think a lot of people are interested in Leeds and Burnley defenders, especially because if you can see Leeds has Everton in game week 1 at home, and a lot of people are looking to use up their bench boost 1 chip before they use their first wildcard. So people are either looking at Leeds game week 1 or Burnley game week 2 for their 4 million defender. Are there clean sheets there? How is this going to translate into the league, you think?
Yeah, a massive jump, and they're going to be under the cosh the whole time. So I'm not expecting clean sheets. But if you look at some of the Leeds players, and certainly Burnley, I mean, Burnley have still got Esteve, which is the main centre-back, and probably the best centre-back in the Championship last season. And he's 4 million. And that for me was a shock to see starting centre-back who was in a team that conceded 16 goals coming in at 4 million, and a really good defender, and someone that can get those defensive points from blocks or clearances. So for me, he stays because I think he's good enough to go to a bigger club. But if he stays, then I think Esteve is probably the 4 million option that I would go for, based on the fact that even if they do concede, from Burnley. So even the fact that you think, oh, they're going to concede, you might be expecting to kind of get 3 or 4 points from him.
I was
because
reading
he's a good defender.
Because he was linked with 4 or 5 clubs in the January window as well, and now Spurs are looking at paying 50 million apparently for somebody like him as well. So very, very highly rated centre back. That especially if he stays at Burnley, I think people are going to flock there. I reckon, Pras.
I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's still there. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, there's 2 reasons to be skeptical. Reason number 1 is, will Burnley be the same Burnley? I mean, we all know how, data dips from Premier League to Championship or vice versa. So there is one skepticism there. Burnley also overperformed, like you mentioned, their expected stats quite a bit. Now, their numbers are so ridiculous, even if they kept their expected stats, even that is good. And the second thing is, when you lose players, how does this new team gel? Then you don't have as much possession. This is why a good defense, I'm curious to learn, between Leeds and Burnley, did they keep these good defensive numbers because you kept so much possession? Because you're not going to do that in the Premier League. Or is it just because they play defense first and that's just the style that they will adopt even in the Premier League?
But for me, Burnley was like defense first.
Was it? Okay.
For Leeds, it's a domination of, we are stronger than you in the Championship. We can dominate any club, and you're not going to get an opportunity to score against us. That's how it felt watching Leeds for most of the season. So obviously the Premier League is different, but I think we'll still try and play the same way, especially at home, where it's like, okay, you come to Ellen Road, we're going to still try and dominate the ball. We're going to try and press everything, be intense, be fast moving. And I think that's how we try and keep the clean sheets. But I think Burnley, whether they still adopt that backs to the wall defensive style, they probably will, but it's going to be a lot harder, especially if they lose Trafford. They've lost another, one of their main centre-backs. Esteve, if he goes, then it's completely different. And the struggle could be there, especially that they haven't made as many signings as Leeds and Sunderland yet.
So talk us through Leeds. Talk us through Farka. Talk us through picks that you like from the team. Talk us through playstyle. All of that. People want to learn.
Yeah, so, I mean, as I mentioned, we like to dominate, especially at home. Get on the ball. It's kind of patterns of play, intricate passing. Everyone seems to know the position on the pitch, which is I think it's a Premier League thing anyway. Everyone knows, everyone's coached to death. But for me, watching Fark, watching Leeds, you get the impression like, okay, we're all in it together. Like this is like a whole swarm, like the Ellen Road crowd. Everyone's like on it. It's really difficult to come to Ellen Road and kind of play against Leeds and try and dominate the ball because of how we set up. And in the Championship, it's easier. But when we had players like Tanaka and Rothwell and Gruev who played like CDM, so we play like 2 of those, and they just win the ball back continuously in the Championship. So as soon as you lose the ball, it's kind of on you again. And when you've got players who are a Premier League quality in the Championship. It's easy to dominate.
Yeah.
So now the step up is, okay, how can we now adjust to the Premier League? And the way that they've adjusted, and Fark's adjusted, and the team the team behind transfers have adjusted, is to get the players in who are physical, because I think the players we had are quite slight. But now we've signed physical, big, imposing players to deal with kind of still the same kind of play, but to kind of have players in that can win the ball back, being physical, being aggressive. So the signings like Longstaff, Bijol, another guy, I can't remember his name, but yeah, those guys are in there to kind of build up the play and like be a stronger team.
All right, so let's go on, Pras. You had a question?
No, I was just going to say, so people basically want to know FPL picks, like who's nailed, who's cheap. So let's start from goalkeepers, because you had this tweet as soon as the prices were launched that they've messed up the pricing because
Yeah.
Darlow is 4 and Meslier is 4.5, which is, so you think it's going to be the opposite. Darlow's going to start.
Straight away, I went to Leeds. As soon as the game opened, I went to Leeds and went through the team, and I was like, wow, they've made a mistake there. So Meslier should be 4 and Darlow should be 4.5.
So what you're saying is, unless you guys sign a keeper, we have a 4.0 keeper with a good fixture game week 1. Because that's huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If we don't sign a keeper, Darlow will start game week 1.
Okay.
There's no way that Meslier comes back into the team, unfortunately.
Excellent. So that's one slot sorted in our 15.
Yeah. I think what happened is people kept calling for Meslier to be dropped, and it's happened just 7 or 8 weeks before the season ended. Something like that is what I read.
Yeah, it was continuously like, when's Fark going to drop Meslier? He's completely void of any confidence. It was mistake after mistake, and Fark stuck with him. But then it just became one too many mistakes, and you could see the nervousness for any like cross. And it was rare that Meslier would have to be called into action. So it was like, oh, the other team have got a corner. The first corner of the game, Meslier would drop it, and then they'd score. And it's like, what are we doing? How is Meslier playing again? Any shot would kind of squirm underneath him, or he'd be in the wrong position. It was just horrible to watch. So eventually Darlow came in and was very good for the last kind of 8 to 10 games. Just imposing, caught everything, decent shot stopper. And for me, I'm not concerned if we didn't sign a keeper. I think Darlow has Premier League experience is good enough. So yeah, I think FPL made a mistake. They should have looked into it more and asked some Leeds fans, because Darlow should be 4.5. But yeah, I'll start with him. So
there's a lot of excitement in the chat on the 4.0 nailed keeper chat. What I want you all to do, everyone who's listening, don't go to the FPL page and pick him, because other people will use team selected by. So never make this mistake. Just leave it right now. Leave it. Be chill. And then a week before game launches, then you get him. All right. So just put it in your notes. You don't need to buy him yet. Let's go to defense.
So our best defender and probably the best FPL option is Bogle, right back. Probably the most nailed defender, I would say, out of our defence. He's 4.5, which I thought he would be 4.5. So they got the pricing right. He's an attacking fullback and will play quite high up, especially against weak opposition. So hopefully he still maintains the same positions he was taking, because he's just improved. Links up well with midfielders, overlap, underlap, quick, beats players. And I don't know if you can see from I don't know if you saw the friendly against Manchester United on Saturday, but
I did. He impressed me.
Yeah, man of the match again, I think, and can beat a man, right? So yeah, I know it's 4.5. I know it's a Leeds defender, but if you're looking for attacking fullback, I think he's decent enough. So especially against weak opposition.
And Leeds have a history,
like Manchester United.
I'm not buying a 4.5 Leeds defender though. No matter how we've been there with Leif Davis, with who was the guy from Luton?
No, but I forget his name. There was a Leeds United defender, 4.5 million, who was a legend who everybody owned. What was his name?
Dallas.
I forget. Dallas.
Different times.
Yeah, but
it was
everybody owned
Dallas. it was Dallas v Ayling at the start of the season as our fullbacks. I went Ayling and everyone got on Dallas, and Dallas was just a legend.
I mean, look, if Konza's 4.5, nobody's picking Bogle anyway. So let's go to Bijol. He's 4.0, and he's going to be nailed, right?
Should be, yeah. I expect it. He's suspended at the start.
He's suspended game week 1. That's really
game week
important.
1.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it'll be Ampadu and Rodon game week 1 at home to Everton. But I'm expecting him to be the starting centre back with Rodon come game week 2. I think it's just 1 game suspension, I'm pretty sure.
But
Why is he
Rodon is also
suspended?
4.0.
Say again?
Why is he suspended?
Yeah, it was come over from Serie A, so they moved over the suspension to this league, annoyingly.
Oh, I don't know they could do that, where they could just
Yeah,
carry
it
over
was a
the...
strange one, isn't it? But
So you think definitely, because everybody is looking at Struijk as well, because he was your penalty taker last year. And it was him and Rodon who was the centre-back partnership. You think Rodon starts over Struijk as the other defender?
I don't think Struijk starts at all. I think if Bijol doesn't play, I think Ampadu goes into centre-back position with Rodon.
Yeah.
I think Struijk is kind of like 4th choice.
It's frustrating if you were in the market for a 4.0 million Leeds defender and were looking to bench boost one, because Bijol would have been the easy, appropriate sort of answer. But because of that stupid suspension, that just isn't an option anymore.
The other two are also 4.0 though, but you think there is more competition for Rodon and Goodmanson because they are also 4.0?
I think Goodmanston will start. I think we've got Sam Byram. I don't think he's good enough for the Premier League. Goodmanson we signed especially for the left back position. So I still need to see him play like a full 90 and see how he does. Bogle's the most nailed because Rodon, I think, while he was good in the Championship, there's a chance that maybe Ampadu does drop back into centre back with Bijol and maybe they play 3 at the back. But yeah, I would say Goodmanson should start, but I'd like to see more of him before we kind of make that assumption.
Interesting.
Right. Let's go into the attack then. What do you like?
But, I mean, yeah, but 4.0 options, they're going to be maybe down the line if people want to try and load up on premiums. And you can see the Leeds 4.0 starting every game, then there's no reason not to go there, right? Especially if we're using Wildcard early and think, okay, yeah, he's done well, looks good, looks nailed.
Before you go to the top 3, I also want to ask about the midfielders. Now, normally nobody cares about midfielders who are 5 million, but this year the rules have changed. So you've said a couple of times that Ampadu could play centre back. Now, the new rule change actually is beautiful for midfielders who play centre back because you get more clearances, you get more now even recoveries because you're a midfielder. Even your recoveries count. Of course, the threshold is 12, but if that happens, a 5 million cheap enabler who plays some game centre back, you think Ampadu is worth looking at as your 5th midfielder who you have on the bench who collects 3-pointers now and then or 4-pointers?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, he's our captain. So if you're looking for someone kind of to play 90 minutes, Ampadu's probably the guy, whether that be centre back.
5 million.
Yeah, whether that be centre back or centre mid. So you kind of got your 90 minutes to get those numbers, the recovery numbers, the clearances numbers. So certainly, especially if he plays centre back as well, which is.
But no attacking threat.
Not particularly. No, not at all. I would expect him to get 0 goals, 0 assists.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've been there for players in the past with that profile.
And before we
I
move to the...
think Bijol will be the guy going up for corners and be the one to be attacking set pieces. Ampadu won't do that.
If I want to start the season with a 4 million defender from your team, who should I go with, Andy?
I'm going to say Goodmanson.
Over Rodon?
I'm pretty sure he'll start. Yeah, I am. Rodon, good centre back, will get the defensive numbers maybe, but I'm not 100% sure on his starting position, like whether that's definitely nailed.
Yeah.
Because we've signed some midfielders, then Yeah, because I keep forgetting about Storch, who we just signed.
Yeah.
Keep forgetting because he's another CDM. So where we got Tanaka, Longstaff, Storch, Gurev is still there, but I think he'll be sold. There's enough CDMs to kind of. Does Ampadu drop back with Bijol in centre back? And maybe the Rodon's the guy to miss out. So that's where I'm a bit uncertainty around the Rodon. I think he will. I think he's been brilliant. Welsh international, done great. Really, really great season for us last season. Whether he's Prem quality and can step up, I think it might be better with Ampadu centre back because Ampadu for me is a brilliant player and probably our best player.
Fair. Now, there's a couple of people in the chat who mentioned that Rodon played every minute, but I always think that managers change their ammunition when there's a big jump in quality. And if we have a Leeds fan saying that it's a little dicey, and I'm sure preseason will tell us more in terms of what Farke is looking in terms of defensive numbers, but useful information. All right, Andy, is Dan James a pick?
So yeah, this is controversial, right? So if I was Leeds manager, I wouldn't pick Dan James, even though that he had a great season and was our highest. I think it was the highest for goal involvements last year. I'm not sure if it's him or Perot, but yeah, had a great season, scoring lots, looked sharp. However, I think we look better when Nonto's there, and he's playing with Bogle on that right side. And for me, Nonto is a better player and a better player for the team as like a ball carrier, someone that can hold the ball up or take a man on. And James is just a runner, a good runner and fine, getting behind. And maybe that's what we need in the Prem, where we need that ball and James can run onto it. But for me, I think the way we play, I think we just look better with Nonto and Bogle down that right side. And yeah, I probably think James will start, but I don't know.
I mean, if you're not sure, then that's just an avoid, right? If James is basically not nailed, then I'm not spending a midfield slot. I'd rather go for Ampadu. That's what I mean.
But I think he is nailed. That's the thing. It's just my concerns about him stepping up to the Prem. Where he's looked good in the Championship, I don't think he's good enough for the Prem necessarily. Just he's a bit lightweight, gets knocked off the ball easy. He looks quick in the Championship, but won't look quick in the Prem.
Yeah.
And Nonto is kind of that tricky midfielder who's got good balance, is really small but stocky, good physicality, links up well, got, like, for me, better shot than James. James is a bit wayward with his shots and things like that. I prefer Nonto, but then again, Nonto could be on the left and James on the right. So, but
yeah, Nonto missed a lot of games. As in, not missed, but he was on the subs bench. Like 17 games, he was on the bench.
Yeah,
that's not good.
From what I read, he lost his position. He played the first 10-15 games, then lost his position, and then never started again because Farke didn't rotate as much. And James did really well. But it's interesting to hear Andy's opinion in terms of how the step up to the Prem will be. Because I think James he was third in the Championship of Team of the Season. So he had a spectacular season.
He was great. And that's me being horrible and saying like, oh, James isn't good enough. But whenever I watch him, I'm kind of frustrated by him, even though he kind of scores and gets assists and he had a great season. I'm still always wary of his ability. But that's me, and I think Farke does like him, and I think other Leeds fans would disagree with me there. But that's how I feel.
And what about Perot? 19 goals, 7 assists. Is he going to be a striking starting striker for the season? Are you looking for somebody? I think you already bought one striker.
We're definitely looking in the market for someone. Again, Perot probably isn't someone to lead the line all season long. He's fine, good enough. But again, if we don't sign anyone, I prefer the other promoted forwards to Perot. Unfortunately, like for me, he's a good link-up player, and again, ended the season really well. But that's because we're creating lots of chances, and it's a Championship, and we're dominating. So
But he could be on pens, no? Like if
he should be on pens, yeah.
Strike isn't starting,
Yeah.
it's Piroi. I mean, I think my read of the striker slot is you're in for Muniz, and if Muniz comes, he will start. He's also 5.5, by the way. So whoever it is, whoever the Leeds starting striker is, they could be on penalties, could be 5.5 million. And unless there is uncertainty there, I think it's attractive, especially for bench boosters. Game week 1, nice fixture. Game week 1.
Yeah, the moment because we've been linked with Muniz all summer, so there's definitely something in that, and I think Muniz is good, and I'd be really, really happy, and then he becomes an option. I don't feel the same with Perot. And Perot's someone that drops into like a 10 position anyway, and it was often where James would be the runner off Perot, and that's how we got a lot of his goals.
Right.
Dan James and Perot kind of dropping into midfield and again linking up the play, but being that extra body in there. He's not really a out and out striker, if that's what you're expecting.
And a lot of people in the chat asking about Tanaka. Is there something there? Because he's 5 million, I reckon.
For me, I was really disappointed that Tanaka didn't come in at 4.5. I was kind of keeping my fingers crossed that he would come in at 4.5. It's just having 5. It's just like, that's a bit too much. But I think Tanaka at 4.5 would get enough defensive contributions to be an option at 4.5. Kind of your 8th attacker. He can get 3 or 4 points. But an interesting thing, though, is he might be used as an 8 with the new signings that we have. So where before he was kind of playing as a CDM in front of the defence or kind of like a number 6, then this is kind of Tanaka could play more forward. And he's got ability to do that. So he can create, he can decent shot on him and stuff like that. But it depends how he's set up as the 3 in midfield, I think. Whether that be Longstaff, whether that be Stach, Ampadu. Again, it's kind of a wait and see to see where Tanaka plays. If he does play more forward, then he could be an option.
All right.
And I mean, there's Leeds fans that say that they're not sure whether he starts, but I think he will as a starting in the 11.
All right. So game week 1, give us a top 3 Leeds United picks as of now.
I still want to say Bogle because I think he's that good. I know it's 4.5, and you're like, promoted 4.5 fullback, not going to do anything. But for me, he's really impressive, and he does fly forward. So for me, Bogle, I would say one of the 4.0s. So let's say Rodon because it's cheap, and Nonto because I think he's brilliant.
Right. And Darrow's a pick as long as y'all don't sign
Darlow,
yeah. Right. What's your prediction in terms of are Leeds going to stay up? Or where do you see them ending the season?
I mean, I'm a very optimistic person, so I'm going to say 15th.
All right. Analytics supports your perception as well. I was looking at Rob T's table where they're projected to be one of the best teams coming out of the championship into the league as well. So, that's nice. And I think...
Yeah. I mean, I would say that I think people would treat Leeds differently if we finished the season on 115, 120 points last year. It was only because Melier kept conceding these stupid goals that we weren't getting wins. We were dominant, so dominant in all the games. And I think if we came up with 120 points and Melier had stopped a few squirming underneath them or catching a ball, then I think people might look at us differently. Because I think we're stronger than people think. Because we're a newly promoted team, people thinking, they're not great. But if you look at the expected data, then I think we're one of the best teams come out of championship in a few years.
So all the 3 teams that you see here that scored more goals than 95 in a championship season, they all stayed in the league the season they got promoted. So it bodes well in terms of what Leeds United does well, in terms of the record as well. All right, let's move on to the next team. We're talking
Let's just say as well, Ramazani. If Ramazani starts, it'll be. I'd be really, really happy. I want Ramazani left and Nonto right. That's how I want Leeds to set up. Ramazani is also a bit. He's been a bit part player in recent games, but the talent's there, and he's just, if you see him play, you think, okay, this boy's got talent.
All right. Let's talk about Scotty Parker. I'm guessing because it's Parker's team, we completely ignored the attack. But what do you have to say about their defense? Are they picks? Are they going to be Sean Dyche in the Premiership, especially with the new defensive contribution points? Everybody's interested in Estev. We spoke about him. Are they going to keep cleans against teams maybe placed 11th to 20th in the league? What's your thoughts?
Based on signings, based on who they've lost, like considering Brownhill and Egan Riley aren't there now, two of their main players from last season, I think it's concerning, and I think Burnley are probably the worst team in the league. Yes, they had good defensive numbers. I don't think that's sustainable, especially in this league, and I don't think they've got good enough players at the moment and haven't signed hardly anyone to kind of make that jump. So, unfortunately, I mean, Estev's good, and I think, yeah, perhaps they can clean. But if they lose Trafford, I don't know who's going to come in to replace him. I think they may have signed a keeper actually already in preparation for Trafford leaving, but I'm not
Are they
completely sure.
in the Premier League? Are they listed? I haven't seen.
Let me have a look at Burnley.
Yeah. I mean, they've signed Trenzabi, decent enough, I guess, from Ipswich on a free transfer. Kyle Walker, still got pace, has he? Oh. Is that just a romantic back to Burnley pick?
Yeah, no way. No one's picking Walker.
Yeah, I do think they struggle. And I've looked at it game week 2 thinking, okay, Burnley against Sunderland. I really fancy Sunderland to go and win there based on their signings and how they look. So
that's interesting. That's
I would be concerned for Burnley if they don't sign any more players, because looking at that team there, I mean, Jayden Nante's fine. I don't know too much about that right winger. I can't pronounce it. I think he's from, again, Serie A. Is he from Lazio, maybe? Fleming, sure, not that mobile. Like, I don't know. It's, yeah.
Who's their penalty taker?
It was Brownhill, and he went on a free, and I didn't even know he'd left until like last week.
So I'm looking at Scouts set piece area. It says Barnes.
Ashley Barnes is still there. Ashley Barnes is still there. Yeah.
Yeah, Brun Larson.
So, but he's not going to start.
Yeah, Brun Larson. They've signed Brun Larson.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So basically, no picks in Burnley as I see it. Maybe a defender if they strengthen, but they need to have a strong window in the next 3 weeks for us to consider them as options.
Yeah, unless they're thinking they're strong enough. Scott Parker. Yeah. I mean, they were strong in the Championship, and you can see it by the numbers. Like, to concede 16 goals is insane. But there's plenty of games where they should have conceded. It was just down to blocks or Trafford being amazing, or
This stat here, they were 10th in the Championship for XG. That put me off their attack completely, because then I just understood, yes, they must have had a beautiful defensive shape in the Championship, and Parker must have pulled that through. But you're not going to get by doing just that in the league. That's why I'm proceeding with caution, because being 10th for XG, it just in the Championship makes me worry about that team.
I would say, to caveat that, I would say that they got to a point of the season where they hadn't conceded for like 20 hours, and it was all about that. It was like, how long can we go with this record of not conceding? And it was something crazy, like 12 or 13 games without conceding in the Championship. And so maybe all the efforts was kind of on that, to not concede again and how long we can do it. So maybe they were just set on that.
Right. So where are the picks, Andy? Or are there any picks, or stay away at the moment?
If Esteve stays, I think he's an option at 4.0 because of how many clearances, blocks, tackles he's going to get. And I would be surprised if he doesn't get those 10 most games. So at 4.0, yeah, Burnley go concede, and they might concede 3 or 4, but you're still going to be picking up 3 or 4 points.
All right.
In those games. So I think if you're looking for like a fifth defender and you haven't got the funds, Esteve could definitely be that guy if he stays.
But you prefer your Leeds guys over Esteve as a pick in that 4 million bracket?
No, I don't think I do. I think Esteve is the fact the way the Burnley are the worst team and the way Scott Parker was set up, it's likely that Esteve is going to get the defensive numbers to get those 10 actions.
Who's going to keep more
games.
cleans in the league this year?
I would expect Leeds to keep more cleans.
Got it. So that sort of balances it, right? Because from what I'm hearing, Leeds are definitely the stronger team compared to Burnley going into the Prem. But Burnley is going to be defense first, whereas Leeds are going to go out and play their football, which is where maybe they might get battered against good teams a little bit more compared to Burnley, who sit deep. Is that a fair assumption to make?
Yeah, I just don't think the players are good enough to kind of keep the ball for Burnley, which might sound harsh. So if Scott Parker doesn't want them to attack, I think looking at those players there, I don't know. Yeah, I feel they'll be under the wave of attack from the opposition, and they'll just automatically try and sit deep and sit on.
Got it.
So looking at the goalkeepers, they have signed this guy called Max Weiss, and he's 4.5. So it's not like if Trafford leaves, we'll get a 4.0 gem either here. So in terms of goalkeeper, it's still your guy, not from Burnley. But for 4.0 gem, I think you're saying Esteve is better than any of the Leeds guys. I think that's the summary.
Yeah, just because I think he'll regularly get 3 or 4 points.
Higher flow. Yeah. Exactly. But I have a hard time ruling out penalty takers from promoted teams, especially if it's cheap. So I guess Brune Larsen, we have to keep an eye on as well if he's getting all the minutes.
Yeah.
Who's going to take pens for Leeds?
This guy, Brune Larsen. Oh, for Leeds, you mean?
For Leeds, it's Pirro. But if we sign someone else, then I'd expect the striker perhaps to take it.
Interesting. So we don't have
if Strike's not on the pitch.
Got it. The one pen that Strike wasn't on the pitch, Pirro took last year, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So we don't have an idea in terms of who might be the clear-cut penalty taker for Leeds as well. Interesting. All right. The team with the most interesting and fun window so far in terms of picking players up. What can you tell us about Sunderland?
I'm excited for Sunderland, and the Xhaka news today as well. It kind of like they've gone for it and unexpectedly gone for it. So last season I was thinking top 3 in the Championship were Burnley, Leeds, and Sheffield United, and I think those 3 were clear of the rest. So Sunderland, fair play to them, come up through the playoffs, beat Sheffield United, who I think were a stronger team than them last year, but they've come up and they've attacked it, and I think the signings they've made are great because they've certainly got a few stars from last season in the Championship, and I think Mayenda was classy, a really classy forward. I think Isidore as well. Both of them, kind of the top 2 forwards in the Championship. They're really good. I wouldn't sleep on them at all, especially with Sunderland's fixtures. And then when you add Adingra and that guy Talby on the other side, you've got Lefay, who I think is a good number 10. And then you've got Diarra, who's renowned as like a proper CDM, like a really good CDM, with a Xhaka next to him. I think it looks decent enough. I know they still want to make a couple of signings. They want a new keeper, I think. They want a new centre-back. But for me, Sunderland going forward, I know they lost Bellingham, but those additions they haven't held back with their signings. So with the fixtures they have early on, I think people are going to be surprised by them the first 4 or 5 weeks, because that could work. My end is very good.
Yeah, I was just looking at the FPL page for Sunderland. You've got a 5.5 million forward, and people will be looking for 5.5 million forwards. I mean, I didn't say this at the start of the pod, but if you try making a team right now, and if you want one of Haaland or Salah and somebody in the Palmer Isak price bracket, you're gonna have to cut corners somewhere. And the 5.5 million bracket in strikers as well as midfielders isn't stacked with options. We don't have a Cole Palmer or Morgan Rogers so far this season. So we're going to have to look to and rely on these gems from the promoted teams, or at least try finding them unless somebody emerges in the 5.5 million bracket. So you just named a 5.5 million striker, Mayenda. Interesting. You named a 5.5 million midfielder, Adingra. A lot of hype about Luffy because he's 5 million and plays midfielder as well. I mean, people
and
could
takes all set pieces, should take all set pieces and corners. Like that. Leffe.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, Leffe for 5 million is also a great pick. I mean, the reason I think I'm attracted to Sunderland as options is because the fixtures early on. To get a Sunderland attacker in there, you can kind of play them in your starting 11 for the first 3 or 4 games because the fixtures they have are good. So you'd expect Sunderland to score goals in the opening games. Like, it's home to West Ham, isn't it? First game, so stadium light, full house. First game, West Ham aren't the strongest team in the league. You'd expect Sunderland to perhaps score. If Lefay's on set pieces and they've got a centre back like Ballard who's good at attacking set pieces, he scored in the playoff semi-final. You've got Mayenda, who's I think the best promoted striker out of the 3 of us.
Not on pens.
Who's on pens for Sunderland?
He was?
I'm
who's
looking
on
at pens? He's asking.
People have left, like Roberts, Isidore, and O'Neill. I don't think they're all starters anymore, are they?
Not necessarily. I think Roberts has been replaced by that Talbley guy on the right side.
Exactly.
I think I think they're all still there though.
They're still there, but they're not starters. So pens is actually up for grabs. So again, Liffey, if he takes pens, you have a gem like a mini Mbumo, like taking pens, set pieces, everything. And maybe they don't score many goals, but maybe he just racks up points with these trickling points. You're not going to play them every week anyway. They're enablers.
Yeah.
And somebody mentioned that he's averaging 12 CBIRTs per game in the championship as well. So he's got a decent floor for racking up 2 defensive contribution points too.
And I mean, the thing is, maybe he's not a number 10, and that's perhaps putting him too far forward. More like an 8 maybe, and they might play 2 8s. But the interesting thing is, if they sign Xhaka, it's Xhaka and Diarra. That's a Premier League quality pairing in midfield. And that enables the players beyond them to do well. And if it is Adingra, Talby, Lefay, Mayenda, that's decent enough quality that I think people would be surprised by.
I mean, what you're saying is so when I was reading about Sunderland, this is what stood out to me, where their coach Lebris brought a direct style of play to Sunderland, where they had the second highest number of counter-attacking shots in the championship in 2025, where they decided to just absorb the pressure, and they had these fast-pacey players up front, move the ball, and then try to transition very quickly and play counter-attacking football. And you're thinking about the signings and the names that you mentioned. If you're thinking about a Adingra, striker that you mentioned, and especially with the double pivot of Saka and Diarra, it could work.
Yeah, the thing that would put question marks about Mayenda is I also think Isidore is very good. So maybe Mayenda isn't kind of your good X minutes, because Isidore is. I also like him as well.
Got it.
So that would be the thing that would put me off Mayenda. I think he'd start, and he looks good. Whether he's 90 minutes, I don't think so.
All right. Got it. But some interesting picks in attack.
Which is awkward, yeah.
Anybody in defense from Sunderland?
I mean, some of those guys are 4.0 again, are they?
I wouldn't touch them, to be honest. Like, we don't even... Like, we've got 2 elite defenses with 4.0 defenders. You're not buying Sunderland defenders.
I would say because I mentioned, I think Sirkin is the left back, but injured early on. So it's Ronaldo, Ronaldo. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
He's 4.0 left back, and apparently he's quite good. So maybe he can come in, do well, and secure his place. I don't know, but
All right. Cool. So that's it on the promoted teams, and let's get back into some general FPL as well. Before we do that, Pras, why don't you tell our listeners about our Discord?
Yep. So if you would like to join and basically support us beyond just subscribing to the channel, and thank you for those who do that, is basically join our Patreon. And to do that, you need to go to patreon.com/the FPL Wire, or you can become a member on YouTube/Patreon, or become a YouTube member basically. And you get access to the Discord. There've been a couple of new members in the last 24 hours since our last pod. So it's all sort of new and buzzing, and welcome to join if you'd like to be a part.
Right, lovely. And all those images that you saw on this podcast are from the Scout members area. So scan the QR code, become a member. All right, that's enough with the promoted teams. Andy, how's the drafting coming along? What are you looking at? There were a few anti-Salah tweets also that I saw on your account. Why don't you tell us about those?
I mean, just for engagement purposes, right? It wouldn't be pre-season without it. No, I think I've done a few drafts. I'm never heavily drafting constantly. I'm more thinking about where I'm going to play my chips. Where's a good jump off kind of time. And again, I'm just really looking into that at the moment. I've not had much time to digest everything. All the content helps. You guys helped yesterday. But yeah, I've done a few drafts. And
come on, Andy, take a position. Give us some controversial takes.
I mean, what I would say, unfortunately, is I've done a draft with Salah. We know what Salah's like, and it still looks good with him in. I know that's not what people want to hear, because I think FPL, we're trying to wean people off Salah at that price. But with defenders being so cheap, and if you leave out Haaland, the strikers are reasonably priced as well. So if I have Salah, the draft still looks good. And I didn't really want that to happen. I wanted it to be, oh, if I take out Salah, now my draft's good. Yeah, you're losing Salah. So unfortunately, it looks like, again, I'm starting with Salah this season, like last season.
What about bench boost? When are you looking to use that chip in particular? Since you're a planner, I'm interested in what your early thoughts are.
Yeah, I'm never someone for game week 1 bench boost, even though we've got 2. I know that people say, oh, it's like a free hit bench boost. But there's still too many unknowns. I don't think the fixtures are good enough game week 2 to roll the bench boost game week 1 and then go into game week 2 happy with your team. So I feel like if I bench boost in 1, I'd want to wildcard pretty quickly. Again, which is frustrating. So I think I'm looking to hold the bench boost for a time when I think my bench is good. When my budget's a bit more expensive, when I've got better options, perhaps I can do that, and then get the free transfers in game week 16 as an add-on to kind of change my team again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll be wildcarding before a bench boost. I think I'll be wildcarding quite early, but maybe bench boosting kind of like 12, 13, that kind of time.
Nice. That's interesting because that's contrasting to the early thoughts that I've had. But if you spot a nice game week for a bench boost, or is it just go with the flow and just at a time when the bench appears decent, you'll go for it?
Yeah, that's what I've done the last couple of seasons. It's done me quite well. So it's like a non-detrimental bench boost where I've arrived at a week and thought, okay, I've got 15 starters here. I've not had to work towards it, activate it. And both times I've had 15 starters and both times it's gone okay. So I'm going to kind of keep to that, I think, for this season. I got 20 points last year and it wasn't revolving around a wild card. So it's done me well, the bench boost. And I think people struggle with it. And people don't realise, like, okay, you've had a good bench boost week, but you've wildcarded or your team's bad afterwards and stuff like that. So
I disagree with that, and we should do that on this. So look, I think you stumble upon it because it's a double game week, and you go, okay, I have 6 double game weekers, and I'll have to bench this good guy, and then okay, you play the guy. you bench boost. In a single game week, when all 15 of your players have single game weeks, you will basically have this issue of, oh, this guy has a niggle. He may or may not start. I'm now down to press conferences whether he'll start or not. Are you going to pull your bench boost? I think if people leave it and hope and just wait for a week, one of two things will happen. Either they'll just say, screw it, I'll just play it with, I have a really good first sub who I have, my top 8 attackers are all very good. So I'm just going to play the bench boost because I can't decide. Or they'll say, I've got so many problems in my team. I'm going to take a -8, play my bench boost, fix my issues, and then just get bench boost out of the way, which will fund my hits. I personally think, maybe not you, that's what people will do if they don't play it.
Okay, so this season I disagree because you can bench boost after 16. So if you go every week and go, is my bench good enough this week? Oh no, it's not. Roll it on to next week. Is my bench good enough? If by game week 16 you've not used a bench boost, then you get 5 transfers.
That's a very expensive bench boost. If you're going to use 4 transfers to do your bench boost.
That's not my intention, but if I have to use 2 or 3 to bench boost at that time.
3 transfers, you know what I'll be doing? I'll be saving those transfers till game week 24, because then we'll have doubles 24, 25, and I won't have this bench boost to worry about. But look, I understand it. I'm not set on game week 1, but it doesn't matter if it's not a perfect bench boost game week 1. That's my point. Like, it's hit free. It's got information. It's got least rotation. Yes, information is not perfect because you don't know 100% which of your Leeds centre backs will start. And if the guy who you recommended doesn't start, screw it. Like, it's okay. You've used it now. It's over. Imagine the person who's sitting in game week 17 thinking, I have to use it by game week 19 or I'm losing it. All you're doing at that point is using up the 5 free transfers FPL has given you and saying, I'm just going to worry about this bench boost. Where I'll be worrying about, how do I get Salah back when Salah is coming back? You'll be spreading that money around in your bench.
But spreading the money around, but having an extra 3 or 4 million press. That's also, like, yes, you might be spreading the money, but you might have an extra 3 or 4 million in the bank to use. You don't have to have
4 million in team value, not in sale value. I think in fact you'll be hesitant to lose a lot of team value because you'll gain some team value and you don't want to sell those players. So I don't agree that you'll have maybe 1 million more in sale value.
And I don't want to use my free transfers on bench boost.
I'm not trying to change your mind.
I don't want to use a bench boost on those free transfers, but if it gets to that stage and I'm not happy with the bench leading up to that, then that's fine. I just think bench boost 1, too many unknowns, budget's at its lowest, and this season especially, it feels like you have to use another chip soon after the bench boost in game week 1.
I don't know. Like, if you can make a strong, robust team with good centre backs who are good with minutes, and you can have a good rotation out of it. In fact, what I would say, another thing I picked up that you said wildcard early. No. Because you know what wildcard allows you? When FPL gifts you 5 free transfers, you can wildcard even after having those 5 free transfers because you can roll 5 free transfers through your wildcard. So imagine that. Game week 17, 18, people are spending 4 free transfers to get to a bench boost. You wildcard. Carrying those 5 free transfers, and then you have basically a brand new team ready to get Salah back. I just think holding wildcard late is the play this year. So actually, bench boost early, but don't use your wildcard to get out of it. Is just something that I'll be trying to do as well.
Just love this. On day 1 of tinkering, we get to see this, and it was beautiful. I just wish I had some popcorn, and I wish you guys went on for about 10-15 minutes more. Andy, I've got a question actually, just generally coming back to playstyle, because I know you're a good planner and I admire the way you play this game. When you're building your team, I admire the confidence you have in terms of being able to meander your way through a bench boost later in the season. So do you always have a robust squad of 15? You're always picking a second keeper, a fifth defender. Is that always the case, or you never go bottom dud in those positions?
No, I do try to have a playing 15 at least, if I can. I'm not going to pick any duds because I want to use my bench more than I want to use transfers. So I do like to save transfers and not take hits. And I trust my squad more than others. So where people kind of use a transfer to make their first 11 amazing for a week, I'm someone that would try and roll the transfer and trust one of my other players to come in and do okay, and hopefully that'd be okay. And it's adjusting this season because perhaps I am too passive on times. That's my weakness, is where, I've got this player on the bench. I don't need to make a transfer because I don't want to bench that player. If I've made a transfer, that's good enough. And I think that's my weakness, where I think, my team's good enough to roll, where perhaps with all these transfers that we're getting extra, I'm thinking, no, make the transfer because it makes your team stronger for this week.
It's funny you mentioned that because I'm also reflecting, right? Not had a good season for a few years now, and I'm reflecting, and I'm thinking the exact opposite, where I think I'm too keen, and I always think, no, my team will improve. Where I think I need to be saying more of what you're saying, where my player's good enough, I need to try accumulating, and then maybe 2 or 3 weeks down the line, I'll try shifting the needle. What's your view though? Do you think transfers are more useful in ones and twos, or do you think there's greater value in accumulating 3-4 transfers and then trying to target fixture shifts for better teams?
I just think the accumulation is better because if you encounter problems or you want to make some big moves, you don't have to take hits and you've accumulated it. So for me, if I get to 3 or 4, I'm not going to spend all of them at once, but it just means I can, I've got a suspension, I've got injuries, I can use that then rather than taking hits. So I'm just, I'll avoid hits as much as I can because I don't think it's worth it, especially now we can accumulate it. Last season I did very well. I got to 4 free transfers really quickly. I would have got to 5, but Vissa got injured in game week 5 or 6. And I had it where I did 3 game weeks, wildcarded, and my plan was up to game week 7 not to make a transfer. And I got to game week 6 without making a transfer. And it was nice to have the transfers in the bank because then I encountered a few problems, but I wasn't taking hits to get rid of, I think, Vissa, João Pedro, Eze had problems at that stage. But I was never taking hits because I'd accumulated the transfers. And that was my intention.
Got it. Nice like that. Any questions, Pras, from an FPL point of view? Well, I actually have one more. What's your take on the new shiny toys in the league? There's quite a few this season. I'm talking about the Wurtzes, the Gyökereses of the world. What's your perception there? Do you dive in early? Is that an edge to go in early, or do you wait to see what's up with team selection, etc. there?
I think Wirtz is very good. A very good player. 8.5 is a very good price. I think he's going to be... I would expect him to hit it off from the start. I know it's an unknown and we shouldn't be excited, but I think the player he is, and having watched him in Champions League and a bit of Bundesliga, I think he can hit the ground running in this team, especially with the players around him. So I'm probably going to start with him, but I'm not 100% because I'd just be worried that perhaps the minutes aren't there straight away, but he's very good.
But my experience of watching Wirtz closely was the Euros. Remember, Pras, we did the Euros FPL. All of us were on Wirtz every week. He was that good. Euros as well. It was him and Musiala.
He's class. I have no doubt. I mean, I just think, however, that sometimes when we add up the perception of players' points, we need to just make sure that we are not expecting Liverpool to win 6-0 every game, right? I mean, we can't expect Salah to have a 300-point season, Wirtz to have a 220-point season, and the other strikers, let's say they sign Ekitike.
You've signed Ekitike. Done.
It's almost done.
Yeah.
So him to score 20 goals, it's just not possible. So something is going to change. And that's where the skepticism comes from. We always have to think of things as goal share. He plays in a team in which there is a guy who takes 50% of goal share away from everybody else, and he takes penalties. So that's where my skepticism is. It's not to do with the guy's class. Like, he could be amazing, like Rangers. No one is talking about Rangers as a FPL pick yet because he's been priced like that and everybody is already used to how Pep does things. But with Wirtz, different position, different style. I'm not comparing the two. But with him, people are more excited because they've seen him in Bundesliga, they've seen him in Euro Fantasy, they've seen him for Germany. So personally, I think let's see. I want to see the goal share. If there's a shift in goal share, then I can start having a conversation.
I think the goal share thing's interesting, and I'm still expecting Salah to drop off. I know he's got AFCON, so he won't get to 300 points again. He missed 6 or 7 games around Christmas. Was it 6 or 7, 5 or 6 maybe games? So
last time he got injured, remember?
Yeah. But I still think the Salah minutes are going to be slightly reduced. I keep waiting for it to happen with his age. The fact that Liverpool got more Champions League games, there's more players now that you could bring on or sub off. I still think it might be a slight Salah drop off of minutes.
We'll have to
I'm
wait
interested to see.
Wait for the second half of the season for that, because I remember, and there might be an edge. Salah's numbers after AFCON last time around fell off a cliff. He had a massive dive in underlying numbers as well as goals and assists, if I remember clearly. The last time AFCON happened as well, so we might have to wait for that. Andy, question: any gems that have caught your eye? I'm not even talking about 5 million assets. Anybody priced at 7 million, 8 million, 8.5 million? That's not everybody's talking about, that you think have high hopes for this season?
I think Sarr's a good price for Palace, 6.5. From what I see, he's very attacking. I know that Eze might be off. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing for Sarr, but it might mean more attacking returns. I don't know.
He might play off the left, actually, which is his preferred position, if I remember correctly. So, but we've been burnt with Palace, right? Last season, when they lost players, it took them some time to come back to, and as LR knows very well.
Yeah, I think there's a few interesting options around 6.5, 7. I like the Bournemouth guys, even though they've got the price rise. Rodgers as well, if he stays at Villa, the minutes are going to be there for him if he stays at Villa. So 7 million. There's certain, at that price point, I think I might have one or two there at that price point.
Yeah, that's a good price point. Yeah.
I mean, Kudos as well, 6.5.
Yeah.
I think he's a special talent. I think at Spurs under Frank, he could do very well. I thought he might be 7.5. So 6.5 for me is that a gem? I don't. Yeah. Again, we'll see on minutes though.
I remember. I mean, there was a period of 3 or 4 months where he kept hitting the bar 2 times a game. I remember he was explosion imminent for such a long time. That happened in the league as well. Any more questions, Pras? Anything you want to add, Andy? Or
I have some sound bites that I want to take from Andy so that I can use them.
Sound bites, okay. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to ask you like 5 or 6 quick fire questions. Okay. Can't think much. Just give me your answer.
Okay, go on. I'm ready.
Top 5 in the league prediction in order.
Okay. Top 5: Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs.
Interesting. Who gets relegated? 3 teams?
Burnley, Sunderland, Brentford.
Okay. Top 3 or players you think will score 20 goals this season?
Players score 20. Interesting. Okay. Gyökeres if he joins. Haaland. I'm going to say Delap.
Okay, interesting.
Isak,
nice. I like that.
Oh, yeah, Isak will score. Yeah, should join
in Saudi fantasy. Which 3 teams will keep the highest number of clean sheets?
Liverpool, Arsenal, City. Pretty boring.
Okay. Top FPL point scorer.
I'm not going to say Salah because of AFCON, because I think the drop off is coming. Let's say Saka.
Interesting. Okay, very nice. That's it. That's all I had. Now I'm gonna when you don't buy Saka now, I will know what to quote.
I think Saka's very quietly. He's coming into his peak. We know how good he is. I really hope that he can just play every minute in the Prem. If Saka does and takes pens, I think this could be like here's Saka now. This is what we know. Yeah.
You and Pras are aligned on them. Both big Saka fan person. Pras loves that too.
Big Saka.
Oh, I think Saka's one of the best players in the world.
It's basically the pens that I worry about with Gyökeres, because Gyökeres is really good at pens. If Saka is a little bit charitable, but his assist threat has gone up even more with the set pieces, right? Because you remember there were a couple of games where Gabriel didn't get the assist for Saka because somebody touched it before, or something like that happened. Now Saka will get all those assists, where even if there's a defender touch and Gabriel puts it in, he still gets the assist. So I still think that. Okay, 2 last questions. Okay, one best signing and one flop signing.
Let's go best signing as it promoted teams. Let's go Adingra.
Okay. Worst?
Worst. Really put me on the spot here.
That's the problem.
You should do the same for Pras because he's going to chop and save them. They save this.
Yeah,
Another time.
There's been some good signings, hasn't there, from a lot of teams strengthening. Bad signings though. Gittins, why not? I don't think he gets enough minutes.
Yeah, good shot.
All right, if you can help it, who do you want to try using the triple captaincy chip on in the first half of the season?
I would like to go Saka. You know,
Yeah,
if I can pick a game against a promoted team, Saka's at home.
Game week 2 against you?
And that's not going to happen. Not against Leeds. It won't never be against Leeds. I can't support triple captain. And
do you know nobody will own Saka home to get? I mean, not many will own Saka home to Leeds game week 2. It's a beautiful triple captaincy opportunity for people who want to do it. It's risky, obviously.
Yeah.
And you know what I thought? You know, I've said about being patient. I've thought about making the transfer game week 2 because I don't think people do it and go to Saka game week 2. I know it's a transfer, and perhaps you should start with Saka if you go do that. But maybe it's a way of just playing aggressively and doing it that way.
I mean, why not start with Saka? You play us. United are not the defensively most robust team in the league. Start with Saka, give him game week 2, and then use a transfer if you want to. And it's Saka, right? You don't have to use a transfer. So you can start the season with Saka, no problem.
Yeah, I think people are sleeping on him, definitely. I think he's an exceptional player.
I think what we really want is Gyökeres to get signed and the signing to get wrapped up, them to play the last 2.5 preseason games together, and us to get confirmation who actually is on penalties. I think that's just a vital piece of information when it comes to that equation.
Do you think any Arsenal players are worth having? Like people are going to go eat like defenders and stuff, but if you're going for a 6 million defender, do you pick up the Gabriel Saliba?
Yeah.
Yep.
I also think Ben White, if he starts at 5.5 million, is interesting. Don't think we should ignore that price point for an Arsenal defender if he's going to remain fit and if he's going to continue playing. But there's always question marks with Timber, Calafiori in those positions as well. So want to
Lewis
wait.
Kelly, I just think the fullbacks is. I just think Gabriel Saliba again. But Mosquera will play a few games this year. It's not the same Gabriel Saliba.
Yeah. Also,
the game week one drama of Gabriel missing out and Mosquera playing or something.
That would be nice. I have an eye on Declan Rice. I genuinely think Arsenal are improving in set pieces as well. I think he's got decent assist potential as well. There was a point where Saka actually did a great job of getting into the box and getting 2 shots from inside the box every game in that role. I wonder if Zubimendi enables Rice to do that because I think he's got a good shot on him. I think he's a good goal scorer. I just want to see more volume of Declan Rice in that position as well. So if that happens, I'm interested in him as a pick. And it was before the defensive contribution rule because I just think he's got a great shot on him. I think he's got that in him.
And maybe free kicks.
Yeah.
Direct free kicks.
That's something that's interesting me. But for later this season.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of decent enough players from decent enough teams to kind of hopefully picks will be spread. Maybe some go in Bremo, maybe someone goes Kudos and stuff like that. It's just like different players, good different teams, and we'll see.
Yep, we'll see.
I just hope it's not too template.
We can only hope, Andy. We can only hope.
Last question before we wrap up, Andy. Who's in your team or your draft you think by game week 1 that not many people will have?
Mayenda.
Like it. And you almost talking to him. Like in my head when you were talking about Sunderland, I'm like, I'm going to YouTube and research all these nice attackers that Andy's speaking about because I want like a fun. Like Sunderland sounds fun, so I don't mind going there.
You can have him. He's not on pens. He'll definitely not be in my team.
Not on pens. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fixtures person, and Sunderland top of the ticker. Then I've got to get some piece of that Sunderland action, right?
Right. Thank you so much, Andy. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's the last half an hour was as much fun as I expected it to be. So thank you, and hope this is not the last time we see you on the wire. And we'll see you on Twitter. If you guys aren't following Andy already, you should follow him on FPL_Tactician or just search for Andy Martin on X. And any last words, Pras?
No, just wish Andy good luck with this FPL season. Top 1% is achievable, Andy. You can do it.
I did top 1% last year. They've
Oh, you know the real 1%. You know the. No, I'm kidding. Good luck. Good luck for the season.
all the best to you. I mean, you can follow me, but I'm just relentless. So I'd advise maybe not to follow me.
You have to dynamically follow and mute Andy. I mean, I'll honestly say it. Like when you're having a great game week, I genuinely go to your profile and mute you. So that weekend, I don't see any tweets from you. And I advise other people to do the same.
So only follow me for bad weeks. Great,
Absolutely.
okay.
Only Schadenfreude.
All right, guys. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. We'll have more videos coming for you this week. Pras has a FPL planning video lined up for later in the week as well. Something I'm looking forward to before I start drafting. So keep the notifications on as well. And we will see you on the other